The sales strategies I'm going to teach you today have been used to close tens of millions of dollars in the agency space. They're the same that I've used in my seven-figure agency, Affluent.co, and the same that I've taught to thousands of other agency owners from all over the world in our private mentorship program. Now, this video is part of our first client challenge series where I'm publicly challenging all of you guys to go out there and take relentless action over the next 10 days and sign your first or next paying agency client. And if you're watching this video before the 24th of November, when the challenge ends, click the link in the description. You'll be able to find out exactly how you can take part. Now, I'm going to throw up our live leaderboard right now so you can get an idea of how everybody is doing in this challenge so far. And if you are watching this by the time the challenge has ended, do not worry, you haven't missed out. You can still go and watch this entire series and take action on absolutely everything that you learned. So let's crack on with today's video. Now, if you haven't watched the previous episodes, I recommend you go and check them out. I've already taught you guys how you can find clients. We've gone through laying your agency foundations and, of course, lead generation. I've taught you how to secure meetings through cold outreach. I've taught you how to write the ideal DM, email, and cold calling script, and of course the KPIs, the key performance indicators you want to hit in order to reach your goals. But today we're going to be diving into how you can actually sign up clients for your agency. I'm going to teach you the foundations of sales when it comes to the agency industry, and of course the exact meeting strategy that you're going to use even if you've got no sales experience whatsoever. The majority of people I've taught have never had any sales experience, so do not worry. And then finally, when you do sign up a client, how you can actually onboard them to your service and make sure that it's a smooth process. Now, for the purpose of this series, I've created a brand new agency from scratch called Ink Media. It is based hypothetically in Virginia in the US, and the niche is tattoo removal clinics. Okay, the service we're going to be offering is a lead generation service. If you want to learn more about Ink Media, go and watch the first episode in the series, and you'll be able to see our ideal customer profile, the offer that we've got built out, how we generated leads, and of course, how we're going to secure meetings for this agency. But today, we are diving specifically into how to actually close clients. The first thing I want to go through, let's just break this up. The first thing I want to go through is some foundations when it comes to actually selling in the agency industry. Now, for a bit of context, for those of you that don't know me, if this is one of the first videos of mine you're watching, before I started my agency, I had years worth of corporate sales experience. I used to sit on the phone, cold calling 100, 150 companies a day. I then dived into door-to-door sales where I'd go knocking down doors on real estate agents and selling software services. I then started selling advertising packages to construction companies in the Middle East. So I've been through the trenches when it comes to sales, and I truly understand what it's like to be in a pressure sales environment. But what you need to understand about the agency industry is it is not a hard sales environment at all. Agency sales is a conversational problem-solving exercise. In many cases, if you're just starting out and you're offering, let's say, a lead generation service, your ideal client is going to be a business owner. So all it is you as person A approaching person B, which is a business owner, and having a conversation and diagnosing this business owner's problems and then providing a simple solution that makes sense to this business. We're not ramming down their throats some service or product that they don't actually want. We're not convincing them that they need it. In fact, they do need it, and we need to help them come to terms with the fact they need it by themselves. And so do not worry. You're not going to be jumping into some Wolf of Wall Street boiler room-esque environment. Sure, it's not going to be easy to sign up your first client. Sure, you're going to have to stumble through it, and you're probably going to screw up a couple of sales calls. That's absolutely fine, but in that, you're going to have a lot of growth. Just understand going into it that we're trying to solve problems. We're not trying to pressure sell here. Okay, so that's step number one. Agency sales is a conversational problem-solving exercise. And we need to understand that people buy people, okay? In many cases, you're going to be offering a service that tens, if not hundreds of other agencies around the world are actually offering to similar clients. Sure, and maybe not to the exact same business, but the likelihood is the business owner you're going to be speaking to has heard of the service that you're offering before. And so they're no longer necessarily buying the service specifically, they are buying into you. Into you personally and the relationship that they have with you in that short amount of time and whether or not they actually trust you, okay? Now, one of the basic principles I'd like you to research in your own time is active listening. And active listening is something actually that I struggled an awful lot with before I started selling, okay? I've got ADHD, many people do, and I struggle with listening to the words people are saying in front of me without thinking about the words that I want to say next. Now, this is a crucial error in sales. When you are asking people questions, listen actively. Nod, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. And then ask intelligent questions back based on the information that they gave you. A fundamental part of the sales process is what we call the discovery stage. And this is where we're going to learn about the business and we're going to diagnose their problems. And it's very important you understand how to actively listen to the clients, because this is going to help us build the maximum amount of trust in the smallest amount of time possible. And hence, get the person to buy the person, okay? You also never want to try and close on the phone. This is really important. Don't try and sell your service on the phone, okay? When I'm talking about the phone, I mean literally the phone. It's okay to do it over a video call on the phone. That's all good, because we can then utilize our face, we can utilize our appearance, we can utilize our body language. But when we're just speaking on the phone, the only thing we have is our voice, okay? So we're fighting an uphill battle. Yes, I've converted and I've closed tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the phone, but typically speaking, I will avoid doing that because I know I haven't got all these other weapons that I can utilize. And especially when you're first starting out, it's really important that you don't do that, unless it is a deal breaker. If you're booking a meeting with someone, they flat out refuse to do a video call, like, no, this is a deal breaker for me, I'm not going to do that. In that instance, sure, cool, you can try and close them on the phone. It's better than nothing, and it's going to be a bit of experience for you. But 9 out of 10 times, you want to refuse to do that and avoid it. Now, you need to understand that conviction is everything, okay? And by conviction, I mean conviction in yourself, conviction in your service and your ability to deliver results. This is absolutely everything when it comes to building trust. Enough trust to get a sale when you're in an agency-based business, okay? And this is something that's very difficult to get when you are first starting out. How can you have conviction in your ability to deliver your service and your ability to get 10 clients for your client, okay? Get 10 new leads or whatever your offer, your promise is, okay? How can you gain that conviction? Well, the honest truth is you have to fake it in the early stages. You have to fake it and then piggyback off other people's conviction. It is so valuable to be surrounded by other agency owners that are doing a good job, that are delivering a great service to their clients. Successful agencies are available in abundance. Join our free school community, Agency Owners. There's a link in the description. You'll be able to see a ton of people that are getting great results for their clients. Piggyback off their conviction and then fuel yourself with it, okay? And in many ways, fake it till you make it. The real conviction is going to come when you sign up your first or your second client, you get them some great results. Over time, you're going to get more and more conviction. When I speak to a business owner, I feel like it's a fraud if they don't go ahead and purchase. They are doing themselves over if they don't buy the service, because I know I would only be speaking to this business owner if my service was the perfect fit for them. So my job is simply speaking with enough conviction around my ability to get them that result in order to build enough trust for them to say yes to me in that meeting, okay? So understand that conviction is everything, and it's not going to be easy to build this conviction in the early stages, okay? But if you're mindful of it throughout, and your tonality comes across confident, and the way you deliver words is confident, you don't stutter, and you get rid of the ums and the arms, okay? The lack of certainty, that's when you're truly going to blow up in sales, okay? So understand that conviction is everything, okay? The way that we deliver our words, our tonality, and our confidence is absolutely everything when it comes to sales, and this will get easier over time, okay? In the initial stages, you're going to speak with a lot of ums and arms, and you're going to have pauses, and you're not always going to know how to answer the questions that you're getting asked, but with every single sales call that you have, you're going to get better and better, and your conviction is going to get stronger. And finally, know you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. This follows on nicely from the fact that you're going to develop conviction over time, okay? On your sales meetings, it doesn't matter if you get a no, because you've spent time practicing, having those active conversations with someone, practicing these new skills that you've learned, practicing your script and getting more familiar with it, getting more conviction after every single call. You have everything to learn from every single call you jump on and nothing to lose. It doesn't matter if you lose a lead. Leads are available in abundance. Meetings are available in abundance. You can replace one bad meeting with 10 other meetings, okay? but every single time you're going to learn something. So get that in your head. Rejection is normal. You are going to get more no's than you're going to get yeses. That is completely okay. But every single time, take a lesson from the meeting that you had and turn that no into a positive. So those are some of the foundations I need you to bear in mind before jumping into this. Now, I've got hours upon hours and hours of content of this in my mentorship programs, and I'm trying to condense down as much of this as I can for you guys today so you can get maximum results throughout this challenge. Let's dive into the technical preparation of actually having a meeting. So you've done your cold calls, you've done your DMs, you've sent an email, someone responds to you. Yes, cool, a local dentist. I want to have a meeting with you, Jordan. Let's do this 11 a.m. tomorrow, okay? What do you do next? We need to make sure that you've got a Zoom account set up or Google Meets, okay? This creates a lot of divide in our company, yeah, but about 50% of us like Zoom, 50% like Google Meets. I'll let you decide which one you are and why. But for me, I like Zoom, okay? So create a Zoom account, you're going to get a unique link and you're going to make sure that you send that over to the client. You also want to make sure that you attach that Zoom link to the calendar invite that you send out. If you book a meeting via cold call, you don't just want to accept that the business owner is going to remember they're speaking to you at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. No, you need to send over a calendar invite on Google Calendar to ensure that that person remembers, and send them an email and send them a reminder as well 24 hours before. Okay, number 2, do some research. Okay, we want to do some research on the company before we speak to them. Just in the same sense that you would going into a job interview. You'd never jump onto a job interview completely blind, not understanding who you're speaking to. Know exactly who you're speaking to on a personal level and a professional level, and try to identify some low-hanging fruits. Low-hanging fruits can be what they've done in the past, what they're trying to do right now, any offers that they've run previously. We're just trying to gain some ammunition that we can use in the meeting, that we can bring up to show that we have done our research and we're serious about this. But also we want to try and identify a commitment to growth, that the business is actively trying to maybe post on social media or market on the internet somewhere. Maybe they're putting out blog posts. Whatever they're doing, we want to try and identify that so we can bring it up and it triggers a conversation on the meeting itself. So identify some low-hanging fruits. And then finally, look presentable. This is really important. You would have thought this would be very obvious, but I can't count how many times I've done a call review of people when they're sat there in a tracksuit with a messy background, and it's just, first impressions count. You will get judged on the way you look and the way that you are presented and the way that your background is, so be very mindful of that. If you've got a shit background, if you live in a crappy apartment, that's okay, It's going to get better. You're going to be able to buy a better one in the future if you put your work in, right? But just sit against a white wall. Don't have that background there. At least put the blur on Zoom, okay? Or put a fake background on. Just make sure it looks good. Now, the third one is look presentable, okay? You would have thought this would be an obvious one, but I can't count how many times I've done a call review and the person just looks like a slob. They're in a tracksuit, the background is messy, it's like some dirty room. First impressions count. You are going to get judged on the way that you look. So make sure you're dressed appropriately. You've got a shirt on, at the very least, a smart sweatshirt. If you're in a messy apartment, then just put the background blur on, or at the very least, just sit in front of a white wall. That's probably your better option. So think about your first impressions. Think about this, going into it like it's a job interview, right? How would you go into a job interview? You're not going to go into a tracksuit. You're not going to get the job, right? Do not look scruffy. And also be mindful of the person you're speaking to. Not all business owners will be the same, okay? You don't need to wear a shirt when you're speaking to a construction site owner, okay? Now let's dive into the meeting strategy. So I'm going to teach you guys a 3-stage meeting strategy, and you can apply this to any of your agencies, regardless of your service, regardless of where you're based. The theory and the psychology behind the strategy will work pretty much selling any product or service. You can just adapt it dependent on who you're speaking to. And it's all based around 3 key stages. We have stage 1, which is the discovery stage. Stage 2, which is presentation, and stage 3, which is the close. Okay, so let's dive into discovery first. Now, the purpose of the discovery stage is to build rapport with the business owner, to gain authority, okay, so to position ourselves as an authority, and of course to gather ammunition, okay, so weapons that we can use later on in the meeting. Okay, so when we get on, the first thing we're going to do is host a little bit of small talk, okay? We need to break the ice and just get the juices flowing a little bit, get past that kind of awkward, I don't know you stage. So I've got a couple of ideas for you. You can comment on something on their background. You can discuss the area that they live in, if you've been there before, if you want to travel there. You can mention a common interest Or, like us Brits do, you can moan about the weather or the traffic and always fall back on that. But we want to have a little bit of small talk, couple of minutes just to break the ice before we move on to controlling the frame. Now, the frame is the situation in which we are in. It's us with another person, and we need to control that frame, okay? We need to stay on top of that meeting and make sure we're the authority throughout. It's very important that you control the meeting at every stage, and the meeting isn't controlling you, or your potential client is not controlling you. So, I always like to ask the question, so I know I reached out to you, I know I gave you a call, but why is it you accepted the meeting today? They're going to think, hang on a second, yeah, that's right. I didn't call this guy, he called me, but I accepted the meeting, so why is that? Okay, well, I want to grow my business, or I want to make more sales, or we're struggling with Tuesdays right now and we need to be more busy. Okay, whatever that is, they're going to address it to you and it's going to come to light. You can use that as fuel. You can also have just a little conversation about it there with the client. Okay, practice that active listening. Then when they've told us, we're going to say, awesome, so I want to start this meeting by learning a bit more about your business, and I need to understand where you're at the moment, and then if we're a good fit for each other, I'll let you know how I can help. Okay, so we're setting the frame, we're letting them know how the meeting is going to go, and we're laying it out to them. Okay, this will be different for you guys depending on your service, but it's very important you tell them how the meeting is going to go so they have an expectation coming into it. All right, so control the frame. Next thing we're going to do is dive into our discovery questions. So we're going to gain ammunition for later on in this meeting. We want to establish what they're doing right now to get clients, so what their current marketing strategy is. We want to find out what is working and what isn't working and why. We want to find out what's selling and what isn't selling and why. And we want to, of course, allow them to vent. We just want them to open up here and essentially tell us all their problems, okay? Because we're going to use this as ammunition. And throughout this, we're going to be practicing active listening and making sure that they feel like we understand the issues that they are going through, okay? But we need them to bring issues to light so we can then provide a solution to them. We've got a whole bunch of different specific question frameworks inside of our academy we don't have time for today. So I want to run you through the reason behind you're saying what you're saying, and you can come up with the questions on your own, or if you're in the academy, you can get those from there, okay? So next is the emotional tie. So what we need to be going through is why, or what is stopping the business owner from fixing all of these issues by themselves, okay? So if they're struggling to acquire new customers and you've established that, you want to ask them, why is it that you're struggling to acquire customers, or what's stopping you from acquiring customers on your own, okay? We need them to establish that they need external help in order for them to overcome their goals. We want to establish their monthly revenue right now and also their desired revenue. This is extremely important. We need to establish their current position and their desired position, okay? So we can tie the figures around our service and we can leverage them and understand why they have that goal as well. If they're making 100 grand a month and they say, I want to make 200 grand a month, ask them why. Find out, okay? Maybe we can get some emotional buy-in as well. Maybe it's because they want to retire their parents or give their children generational wealth. If we can get that emotional buy-in, we've hit the holy grail when it comes to the discovery stage. And then once we've gone through all this information, there'll be anything from 5 to 10 minutes of asking these questions, practicing active listening, going back and forth. We are going to get permission to proceed to the next stage. So we're going to say something to the effect of, I understand your problems and I know how we can help solve them. Would you like me to show you how I can help you get to 100K a month? Would you like me to show you how I can get you 10 new clients a month? Okay, but we want to make that specific result something that we have discussed or identified in the discovery stage itself. Yes, Jordan, I would love you to do that. At which point, we can then move forward to the presentation. So to recap, the discovery stage is all about understanding the business owner's current position and gaining ammunition. We want to build trust through active listening and showing them that we care about the problems that they are facing. We want them to recognize that they can't reach their goals without an external helper, okay, without us providing a solution to them. We want them to accept that and acknowledge that. And through building enough trust, through listening to them through this stage, we will be able to achieve that outcome. Now, don't be intimidated by this. When you speak to enough business owners, when you have enough of these calls, through repetition, you're going to get better and better every single time. You're going to be more fluent and comfortable in engaging with new people. So that's the discovery stage. Let's move forward to stage 2, which is the presentation. So this is where we're going to wow them and we're going to build credibility through teaching about the outcome of our service. Now, I've built this out for a ad agency or a lead generation agency, but you can apply the same methodology to absolutely any agency or any service. So let's say you're running an ad agency and we've checked on the Facebook ad library that they're not running any ads at the moment. Well, we're going to start off by providing some free value so we can critique their page or their website. And I'd recommend giving them what I call a shit sandwich. Give them a compliment first, then the critique, and then another compliment. So you're going to soften the blow of that critique. We then want to use the 3 weapons of influence: social proof, comparison, and authority. Social proof is simple. We want to reinforce the fact that humans act as a herd. They like what other people like. And so we want to get up a competitor's page, ideally a local competitor that they're going to be aware of. That's got engagement on their posts, likes, shares, reviews, etc. You want to get up both pages side by side, the client and the competitor, and say, look, if I was a potential customer of yours, who am I going to go to? The competitor who's got the likes, comments, shares, reviews, or yourself who's got none of the above? You're probably going to go to your competitor. That's going to rile them up. It's going to ignite a flame for them to be better and do better. Which leads me on to the weapon of comparison. Okay, so we want to show a competitor who's running ads. This could be the same competitor, it could be another, it doesn't always have to be local, it can be further afield if you can't find someone local. And get up the Facebook ad library and show that this company is already running ads. You want to complement the fact that they are, and they're going to be cleaning up in the area, but you also want to critique those ads and make it very clear you can make them better, to give that window of opportunity that this company can do better than their competitor. Again, it's going to rile them up and make them want to do better. Finally, we have the law of authority. This is where we're going to show our knowledge. So in this instance, if we're a lead gen agency, we could show what a Facebook lead form ad actually looks like. We could show the form and the questions that we can add, therefore adding more qualification on the actual form itself. And then, of course, run them through the process that we're going to call up these leads on this pipeline. You might want to show them your CRM system. We're going to call them, qualify them, book them onto your calendar to make sure that they are actually ready to buy, so you have absolutely no time wasters, and convey your offer. We're going to generate you at least 10 qualified leads in the next 30 days, or you don't pay, or whatever your offer is. You can then back that up with a relevant case study or case studies. And of course, if you're just starting, you won't have this, but you want to make sure that you back it up with a relevant case study. If they have run ads, or they are running ads at the moment, you're going to provide some free value again through a critique of their ad strategy this time. It makes sense. You're going to identify the issue from their perspective. Okay, so ask them why they think things aren't going as well as they should be. You're then going to deliver your elevator pitch. Okay, so your elevator pitch is simply a pitch that you would be able to give to someone in an elevator in a short amount of time. So similar to what we went through in the cold call, you're going to explain what your service is, how it works, the benefits of your service, and then of course your offer. Okay, so what we do, the USP, so we're going to call up your leads on your behalf, etc. if you're providing a appointment setting service, and then highlight your offer and your risk reversal as well. And you want this to be a maximum between 10 and 30 seconds long, okay? Focusing on outcomes, not on the mechanics, okay? It's not about the Facebook lead form ad, it's the benefit of the Facebook lead form ad, the fact that we can add additional qualification and we're going to qualify the leads that are coming through, not the mechanics and the technical stuff that they don't care about. We're then going to back this up with relevant case studies again. So once we've done this and we've presented our solution, we are going to validate this solution with them. So we're going to ask 2 crucial questions. Do you have any questions on what we've discussed so far? Okay. And it's actually crucial you do this throughout the presentation stage. On each stage, you want to say, are you following? Are you with me? Does this make sense? Have you got any questions? You want to make sure you're getting these yeses throughout, because you don't want them to be confused, because they're just going to be clocking off. Okay. Their mind's going to shut down. And then you want to ask, do you believe this system will help you scale to 100K a month? Do you believe this system will help you get 10 new leads per month? Okay, whatever the desired or specific result is you've discussed in the discovery stage. So what you're getting here is a yes, is an agreement that your system is the right solution, that it does solve their problems. So even before we've gone through the price, they've agreed that this is the right service for them and they do actually need it. And this is crucial. The presentation stage is not about boring someone with the technicalities of our service. It's simply about explaining the outcomes and the benefits of our service, the specific result that the client should expect, and then getting validation and acceptance that it is the right solution to the problems they're facing that we identified in a discovery stage. So everything is very closely linked. Let's come off this. Some people like to use a slide deck. I don't think you need to use a slide deck when you're first starting out. It's not crucial. You can literally just open up your web browser and get up Facebook, or you can have screenshots as well. You simply don't need a slide deck initially. When you perfect your service and offer down the line, you can create a slide deck if you would like to. Okay, Stage 3 is the close. We're going to gain permission to sell and progress forward. We're going to clear up all questions before proceeding. Do you have any questions? Are you following me? Are you with me? Etc. We're then going to establish their marketing budget. They will lie, but you still want to ask them just in case they tell you it's more than it is, more than you expect, okay? Because you don't want them to have loads of budget and you quote way less and you're going to regret it down the line. But ideally, what's going to happen is they're going to ask you for the price. Once you ask them what their budget is, they'll say, well, how much does it cost? Okay, and this doesn't happen every single time, but the ideal situation is they ask you for the price. At which point you can deliver it through saying something like, our monthly fee for our lead generation service is $800 a month, and we want you to spend an additional $800 on your ad spend. Stay dead. Don't say anything. Embrace the silence. There's a term in sales that he who speaks after the price is given is he who loses. Okay, I just made that up, but it didn't roll off as well as I thought it would. But seriously, if you speak after that you've mentioned your price, you're validating your price, and you're killing all of the trust and conviction that you've built up across the entire sales call. This is crucial to understand. Do not say a word after you've named your price. If you then start doing so, you are literally just trying to explain and validate the reasons your price are where they are, and you're going to lose all of that hard work that you have put in across the call. So just sit in there and embrace the silence and let them think. Don't say, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts? Say the price, say $800 a month. Dead. And then they'll come back with either a yes or they'll come back with an objection. But it's crucial you don't speak first, okay? Now you can test out a price drop. So you could have a startup fee within your price and then you waiver it on the call. Or you could add an on-call discount as well. So you raise up your price, let's say it's 2K, but you drop it to 1K for a decision on the call. These are both things that I've done in the past with success. Depends on you. I would recommend trying them out. And then, of course, you do have the option of offering a free trial or a pay after results basis, which I'll actually come onto in a moment. But let's just presume that the client for now has said yes to the price. They've said, yes, let's go forward with this. Well, of course, you're going to express a lot of excitement. You're then going to book in a kickoff call. A kickoff call is important to make sure that you can onboard the client smoothly and just connect all of the dots. You're going to ask for their mobile number, and you can either set up a WhatsApp group, which is what we like to do. We get them straight in a WhatsApp group straight after they've said yes. So there's no way that they can even back out of this. Okay, we've already put our team members in, they're already sharing the excitement. And in the very least, you've just got a mobile number so you can call the lead if they go cold for whatever reason. And then finally, explain that you're going to send over the contract with the first month's service fee attached to it. Okay, simple. If you get a no, okay, understand first of all that some of our best clients in our agency have said no first of all, and this is completely normal. It is completely normal for people to say no before they say yes, okay? It is natural. Intelligent people will say no. They'll have pushbacks. They'll have questions. It is the job of any good salesperson to understand that a no is not a no. A no, in many cases, is simply a request for more information. And so you need to be able and be prepared to deliver that information. Simply ask why. Now, I don't think it's right for us. Okay, why? Because 2 minutes ago, when I asked you if you thought this was the right solution to solve your problems to get to 100K a month, you said yes. So what's changed now? And then overcome that objection. I've got a massive list of objection handles inside our program. We'd be here for hours if we were going through absolutely all of it right now. But it's very important that you're not afraid to push back on individuals, that you understand you're going to get so many more no's than you are yeses. And that is absolutely fine. I take delight, and you will take delight, in converting a no into a yes, in helping someone understand that their rationale is a logic. And actually, there's no reason or logical reason why they shouldn't move ahead with this service if they want to achieve the specific result that they've outlined to you earlier on in the meeting. So embrace the no's and be aware that they're going to come in abundance, okay? And have fun with it. Now, never be afraid to push back politely, okay? Always be polite, but always push back. And don't be afraid to do this multiple times over. If you get a no and you push back and then they give you another no, push back again, okay? Push back until you can resolve that issue. Ask why and just objection handle. It's as simple as that. And rinse and repeat. So that's it. And it's as simple as that. Now, I've got a few extra things for you guys that are equally as important. And the first is only using a pay after results basis as a secret weapon. Okay. You never want to offer a free trial on the front end. Okay. I preach this all the time. A free trial or a pay after results basis is a secret weapon that you can use and leverage when you just truly can't get the client over the line. You've said the price, they said no, they obviously don't trust you for whatever reason. Maybe you haven't had enough conviction throughout the call, that's fine. But at which stage you can say something like, look, I completely understand your position, but after speaking to you, I'm so confident this would work with you, I'd be willing to do this for you for free for the first 30 days. Only after I get you the results would you then have to pay me the service fee. It's very hard to turn that down in that position because it's positioned well. It's like a favor. You don't want to be offering it on the front end because then your positioning is going to be low and it's going to look like you don't value your service and you don't have conviction. And as we know, conviction is everything. Now, never pressure sell, but do not be afraid to challenge logic. I've had so many calls where the client's objection has just been downright illogical. I remember this call clearly with a brand owner who was making $300K a month, wanted to get to $400K, and I pitched him on a $2K a month service charge to start off with, which is actually really low. And he said to me it was too expensive. And I remember just laughing when he said that. I was like, you just said to me you want to make an extra $100K a month, okay, and I'm charging you 2% of that at $2K. Do you not think that's a rational investment to make in order to get you to $100K? And he was like, yeah. Actually, I can see where you're coming from. I ended up closing him. It was a little bit more back and forth than that. But I remember just reacting as if he was being audacious, as if he was just being crazy. I was like, what do you mean that's too much? You want to make an extra $100K a month in your business every single month, and I'm charging you $2K. So it's okay to challenge people's logic. Sometimes people need their logic challenged. Okay, don't be afraid to do that, and you will gain more confidence in doing that over time through repetition. Now, never leave a sales call without another sales call booked in. This is vital. If somebody says to you, I'll let you know on Tuesday, I just need to speak to this person, don't accept it, okay? Okay, fine, I understand you want to speak to that person, but let's get a call booked in for Tuesday afternoon after you've had the chance to speak, and then we can go through all the details, okay? So don't leave a call just on that whim. And even if someone does say to you, I need to speak to my wife, just say, well, what is it you need to speak to your wife about? I just need to ask them if they think this is a good idea. And say, do you think this is a good idea? If you didn't have to ask your wife, would you be going ahead? Yes, I would. Okay, so what is it your wife would say in order to stop you making this decision to go ahead? And then overcome those objections, okay? And then they realize they don't need to speak to them at all, and they're just stalling. Many times people will just stall for the sake of stalling. But always get another sales call booked in if you can't get them on that first call, okay? So then we're looking at a 2-call close. And a 2-call close is simply where we can't call them and we can't close them on the first call. The only other instance in which you'll do a 2-call close is if you're limited on time, you're being rushed, and you never want to go through your presentation and your closing section if you're feeling rushed and you're limited for time and they're just not going to get over the line. In that instance, if that does happen, just go through the discovery stage and then at the end, simply say, look, I completely understand your position. I've got a great solution for you. Are you free in a couple of days' time? Let's book in another call and I can present that to you. And then just go through a mandatory 2-call close, but never be forced into a position where you are going to be selling in a rush time frame. The next thing I would say is, and this is really important, is never allow second-hand selling. If the person you're speaking to wants to go speak to another person and get their opinion, okay, if they need to go then sell it to another person because they can't make all the decisions themselves, book in a call with that person. I need to speak to my business partner. Look, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't believe second-hand sales works very well. I think that I'll be able to explain the service better than you would, not being rude at all. So why don't we book in another call and I can have the opportunity to go through this all again with John on the call as well. Okay, so get another call booked in with the other decision maker. Now, as we've already established, you have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain from these calls. You're going to get rejected an awful lot. That is absolutely okay, but every single time you're going to come away with it with a lesson that you can apply to the next time round. You're just going to get 1%, 10% better every single time you jump on these calls. So you have absolutely nothing to lose by a call not going your way, and you should embrace failure and fail forward throughout this sales process. And finally, fake it till you make it. This is a term that I hated when I first started my business until I realized that this is what everybody did, okay? Or I'm not talking about lying. I'm talking about puffing up your chest. I'm talking about inflating what is already true. Think about job interviews. How do you get a good job? We need good experience. Or how do you get good experience? We need a good job. Well, something's got to give. Something needs to get inflated in order for you to move up those ranks. It's exactly the same with these meetings. You're going to have to fake that conviction. You're going to have to pump yourself up and really fake that you have this in-depth knowledge about the service that you're trying to deliver, okay? Because you're not really going to have full knowledge until you actually start delivering it for a client. So with those initial stages, you're going to have to fuel yourself with that fake confidence. But ultimately, that fake confidence will manifest in real ability because you'll sign up clients and you'll no longer have to fake it. So in many cases, fake it till you make it. Become the person you need to be. Embody that person and you will become them. through repetition. And guys, again, if you're watching this when the challenge is over, there's no excuses. Go out there, apply it, go start signing up some clients. And if you're not already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.